let him come and coach.
Are you sure?
You see, this season, I'm not saying that he's not going to defend Erik Ten Hag anywhere. I'm saying it. I'm not defending. I'm not going to defend Erik Ten Hag anywhere.
Even if he has injury worries.
No, I'm not going to defend him. I felt he earned the right to the first season. The second season, injuries and a lot of things helped him out or something.
Third season,
no, because one, we have the most experienced team now among some of the teams. Because if you have Manchester City, we still having the same coach. Arsenal is having the same coach. Chelsea have gotten a new coach. Liverpool has also gotten a new coach.
I think Erik Ten Hag will be the third longest serving manager of any club after Pep Guardiola.
So you can't afford to mess up this season. If you do, it will start from the Community Shield. If he does anything wrong, that's it. Rebel leader. I've lost my hand out of Anthony's dealings.
I look at Anthony and I cannot believe.
The guy disgraced me. Wow. Come on.
I don't know how you are feeling. I just don't know how you are feeling. We were supposed to record. You saw the initial video that we posted. Yeah, that's Michael Akumia, the Messiah. That was how he was reacting. He was supposed to join us, but somehow, Doomso has happened to him, so he couldn't join us today. But in the course of the week, we promised to bring you Michael Akumia. But I don't know how you are feeling. Are you smiles? Are you happy? Do you feel relieved? Do you think you've gotten to a point where it was needed? Well, wherever you are, however you got the information, however you received the news, well, you can share with us in the comment section what you felt. We've got some reactions from some of the fans to share with you as well, so we'll be sharing that. But I'm here with Kwame to talk about the fortunately or unfortunately departure, depending on where you stand, of coach Erik Ten Hag, Manchester United manager. Won 2 trophies in each of the seasons, full seasons he completed as Manchester United boss, but has overseen some of the most atrocious games for us as Manchester United coach. And also a lot. I mean, his tenure is one hell of a mixed bag. You don't know how to explain it. You don't know how to go about it. There were people who heavily criticized him from the beginning till the end. And there were people who were with him and at some point fell off last season, and some also fell off at the beginning of this season. Some fell off just yesterday. And
Francis Herbert.
Yes, some fell off just yesterday. So that's where we.
The last straw that broke the camel.
And guess what? Right after that, Erik Ten Hag has been shown the exit. He had it coming. I mean, he had it coming. If you go back, you know what? When I go for the break, we are going to insert a video of Daniel Cranton, who made a prophecy at our last sit down, saying that Erik Ten Hag will be sacked for Ruud van Nistelrooy to take over. And that's exactly what has happened. He said in November, but we are in October. We are just entering November. And that's how. If you believed it or not, that is what has happened. This is United and Everything Football. It's a long intro. I'm here with Kwame Chubu. We are here to discuss everything that has happened over the last couple of hours. And not just the sacking of Erik Ten Hag, but we have a candidate who is going to take over in Ruben Amorim. This is where it stands at the moment. We'll be delving deep into all of it for you here, for you to understand exactly what has been happening over the last couple of hours regarding the managerial situation at Manchester United. Kwame, great to have you back on the podcast.
It's good to be back. We have a lot to talk about today.
A whole lot, especially now and in the course of the week. So this will be your favorite spot. Some of you, because we're not doing well, you stopped coming to watch. But I'm sure you are watching now because some things have changed. You are not loyal. You people, you are not loyal at
You
all.
have to deal with us in good and bad times.
Deal with us. Why are you running to? You want to leave us all to ourselves? Remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. It's very important for us. Let's make a quick turnaround. While we are making a turnaround, watch Daniel Cranton making a prophecy about Erik Ten Hag.
So they are just some managers who, to be frank, they just won't cut it.
The levels are different.
You know me, I wanted Ten Hag. Yeah. In fact, you remember, I wanted Ten Hag. As if Barry didn't get Ten Hag, I was going to wash my hands with Ten Hag. Yes, he has come. But to be frank, he has not done enough to prove to us that he is the manager to take us to the next level. And again, if you are entering your third year in a contract that we were meant to rebuild the team, and you've gone from third to eighth, it's always excuse after excuse and excuse. And I tell United fans, look, if you were literally happy with last season, and I know you were not happy, it's because of rival fans. But you won trophy. But deep down, you know you're not happy. You can't finish 8th and win trophy and be happy. Finishing 2nd and challenging for the title till the last day. For Man United and trophy, it is better than this 8th season. This 8th thing, that's not Man United's last standard. So the point is, next season, I think United will challenge for top 4.
Okay.
And I think United will and that challenge will start after November because that's when we'll start. So I've looked at the fixtures. And everything is aligned. Euro is head, Holland is head, Robert.
And so Liverpool's on first.
But
if you score slot, that may be the same day.
Look, the guys have said so many. That's what I've said in my break. The players who are coming, the Ugates and the Delites and who they are there. You see, they are the sort of players that when a new manager walks in and he looks at the material, he can start.
He has something to work with.
Let's give him time. Okay, look, with Ten Hag, you can't have. It is impossible for you to have 2 summer transfer windows, spend the money he has spent, buy an entire whole team, and still be telling us 500 million are going, and you don't expect it.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome back to United Everything Football Podcast. So that was Daniel Cranton making a prophet. He says he's the prophet of our time. Anyway, in the course of the week, we'll try and bring him back on the podcast. We'll try and bring him, Sicho, and then Akomia on the podcast to see how best we can have one great podcast. Possibly right after the Leicester game, we'll try and arrange and see if we can have them on the podcast with us. Kwame, let's talk briefly about some of the issues that has happened over the last couple of hours, and then we'll take some reactions from our friends who joined us or who have sent their videos to us. I'll tell you where I was. So I was facilitating a training program where, and I had a 10 minutes, let's say a 30 minutes break where I had to relax and then take my snack, and then I also had to take my phone to go through. Right as at the moment that I picked my phone, the David Ornstein banger just dropped on my phone. I started shaking. I'm like, what is happening? Is it really, really happening? So that was it. So that was how I got the news. Then people started sending me messages. Are we having an emergency podcast? Are we having an emergency podcast? Well, unfortunately, where I was, it was rather unfortunate that we could record an emergency podcast. But Kwame, where were you? What were you doing when the news came?
I was actually working. But then it was in my flexi-tight. There was something called flexi-tight where you're able to, handle your phone and all that. And you don't have all these notifications on all these major outlets set. And I just saw it like as it happened. I saw it as it just happened, and I quickly had to, update our page. It had been coming. Kwame had been coming. Over the past couple of weeks, I'll say something on this spot. Over the past couple of weeks, we've noticed that some people in the comment section, not just here on TikTok and then on Twitter, our handle, people have been saying we have been very negative about Erik Ten Hag over the past few. No. The truth is, we call it as it is. If you followed us from the very beginning, ever since we set up this podcast, we did not start this podcast in the midst of negativity. Even during our very, very difficult times last season, we tried as much as possible to be positive. Not because we wanted you people to join us on the podcast, but that's just who we are. That's our personality. We call it as it is. And it gets to a point where you just have to admit the fact that irrespective of the fact that you have outright support for the manager, it becomes untenable.
Yep.
It does become untenable. And the lesson for us United fans is, the reason why myself and you, we can actually accept this so easily is, we have lived a very, very long time as United fans.
Yep.
More than half of our lives as United fans. We've been there in the very highs. I say this because there's a generation of fans, especially on social media, who may not have seen our highs, or probably saw the latter aspect of our highs. For them to not know that kind of Manchester United.
The
only Manchester United they've known is that of misery, right? So people try to stay extremely positive. But for us, we've seen it all. We've seen it all. Good times, bad times. And over the past 11 years, we've seen quite a lot. We've experienced quite a lot. A lot of traumatic experiences. A lot of change of managers. We've supported all these managers. We've always backed all these managers. The moment that they step through the door, we are fully backing them. But unfortunately, it's happened not just once, not twice. This is the third time it's happening. And from that experience, it gets to the point we say to ourselves, you know what? It's not working. And if it's not working, it's not working. And that's how we've always called it. All
the time. I mean, sometimes people...
we saw this coming. Hence, our commentary over the past couple of weeks. It wasn't our fault. It's not your fault. It's just the fault of the football club. It's the fault of Erik Ten Hag. It's just what it is. And we just called it as it is. So here we are.
Absolutely. So, sometimes people seem not to understand that I am no pro coach. If anyone has ever known me, like Kwame knows me, I am no pro coach. I am pro Manchester United. I am pro, let's give people the chance, right? Because I don't think any coach United hires is a bad coach. I don't think any coach United hires is a bad coach. United didn't hire Moyes. I mean, yes, you could have your issues about Moyes. Ferguson handpicked him. Ferguson, in his knowledge, felt he was a good coach, right? We supported him. It didn't work. He had to go. Right after Moyes, Louis van Gaal came, a winner, top guy. I mean, what do you have to say about him? He came in, he left. It didn't work, all right? Who else came in? Right after that, Jose Mourinho, a big guy. I mean, top coach. Came in, we supported him till the very end. It didn't work. He had to go. Our former player, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, had a lot of support. I mean, we were all behind him. It didn't work. He had to leave, right? Now, Erik Ten Hag has also come. I mean, in between, there's been interim managers in Giggs, in Carrick, in Ralph Ragnick, and all of that. We've supported them till the very end, and that's who that's who we are. All right. The next coach coming, we'll have our backing. So the
next coach is the best manager in the world, Kwame.
Of course, the best manager ever.
Until he's not.
Yes, that's how we just support. It's not as if anybody criticizing a coach doesn't have the right to criticize. I mean, you can criticize, you can all of that. We all do criticize. Last season, if you followed the podcast very well, I criticized Ten Hag a lot, but I also believe that perhaps let's give him some time. But it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out for us. So we are very much sorry for Erik Ten Hag. I think he has to take a share of the blame himself, because some way, somehow, he decided to mess things up, and then the door has been showed to him. And as it stands, Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to take over as interim coach, and United are moving in swiftly to bring in a new coach. Just before we started the recording, David Ornstein, Laurie Whitwell, and Adam Crafton of The Athletic are reporting that United are prepared to pay the compensation for Ruben Amorim to become the next coach of the club. And also, Amorim is also interested in making the move as things stand. So talks are ongoing. Well, and what Laurie is reporting indicates that United are doing everything possible for him to become the coach of the club just before the game against Chelsea. I don't know how possible.
I've just seen that as breaking news. He's not going to make it in time. Even if he is appointed before the Chelsea game, he will probably be in the stands. It seems Ruud van Nistelrooy would oversee the next couple.
We'll still see a couple of the games. So that's basically where it stands right now. So a very difficult thing, because this mid-season, Sporting is a big club as well. So it's going to be very difficult to, finish everything on time because they would also have to look for a replacement. It's going to disrupt their season as well. So a lot of these things would have to be thrashed out. But Kwame, before I continue with you, let's listen to some of our friends who have brought in their videos concerning the sack of Erik Ten Hag, what has been their expectations, what they are thinking. Let's listen to that. We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, finally, Erik Ten Hag is gone. He's been sacked. I wish him all the best. This sack was inevitable, like we always discussed in the group. We always discussed with our United friends that it was something which would happen one way or the other. And I think the Ineos thought it was wise to sack him at this moment, which for me personally, I thought they took too much time in making that decision. Yeah, going forward, I'm looking for a coach who would come with his own plan, with his own idea. Erik Ten Hag actually lost me when he said he's not coming to play the Ajax football, because I think that was what's the kind of picture or vision that United fans had when we appointed him. We thought we were coming to play similar football, if not the same football. So when he said that, he lost a lot of fans, which I'm one of them, because that I thought that was what he was trying to play, especially when we chased De Jong for long. But unfortunately, he told us that's not the football he's coming to play. And so then we didn't know the type of football he wants to play, which was where he shot himself in the foot. So yeah, I wish him all the best.
Okay, so I think with the sacking of Erik Ten Hag is quite unfortunate. I think with the bad results that we've had in the past, I think 13 games, and the issues at hand, I believe it might be in the right step for them to get him out. Then now Ineos will have time and chance to prepare to bring in a new manager. I don't think they should rush it. But if they can get somebody to come in, I just saw that they're going to go for the guy in the Sporting guy. So it might be somebody they might appoint. So if you can come in now before the season ends, gets to acclimatize and get to know what's going on, I think it should be fine. Anyway, we wish Erik Ten Hag all the best. He won trophies with us. We hope that we keep on building what was left and we become great again. Thank you.
The game is the game. I think it's time for Erik to go. I actually thought it would be after the international break where they get quite a number of games to assess. But then if you lose games like West Ham, you force their hands. And then you see there's pressure on Manchester United. Erik gave us 2 trophies, which we are very grateful for. In fact, rival fans would love to have these 2 trophies because Pep Guardiola is there winning big trophies. He's not leaving. I don't know if he will leave next season. So I think his 2 trophies are good enough. We can put them in our trophy room and then save it. But the next big question is who is coming? That's why I think Ineos has to do better than Glazers. We've not done that quite better in recent years. So I'm looking forward to how the person comes, how they help the person integrate, and how we move forward. Because moving forward is what we need to do. Erik is behind us. Erik is history now. So we have to move forward. Glory, glory, United.
I was offline when the news broke. I went on Instagram to check something, and that was the first thing that popped up, Premier League account, and I was shocked. And this is because I used to be a Ten Hag fan, and I say I used to be because it got to a point, some of the decisions he was taking, you just couldn't defend him anymore. And like Mars at 10, it was mad. You had Eriksen, Ahmad, who could both play at that 10 role, and I feel like he worked himself out of the job because some of the decisions he has taken, it wasn't up to scratch. And so, as I said, I used to be a Ten Hag fan, a very big one, and I felt like he was the one to take us back to our glory days, but it wasn't to be. And I switched from his camp to the camp of the sporting team that Jim had brought in. As he said, they were best in class. So my stance for some months now has been, if they feel he's still the one to turn things around, fine. But if they did not, because I think up until now, everyone would agree that they haven't really made big mistakes. As I said, best in class. So if they've decided he's no more the one to take us out there, then that's fine.
Okay, so finally, the deed is done, and the man is gone. He had it coming. He couldn't defend himself anymore. He had all resources and misused them. I think he's the only coach post-Fergie who cannot say was not bad, because he was fully backed by previous ownership and new ownership and received all that he needed to do the job. But unfortunately, he couldn't make do with it. And it's as if I'm wearing a new suit, which signifies new beginning. So let's see what Ruud will do in the interim, and then hopefully we get a better manager in. Come on, Ures.
Well, finally, the inevitable has happened. I believe he should have been sacked sooner rather than later. We gave him too much time to fix his mistakes, try and fix whatever problems that were within the squad, try to stop misprofiling of the players, but it seems he was too stubborn and he brought this on himself. I tried personally to back him till the end, but he lost me, or I should say I lost him along the way, especially in the Fenerbahce game where he decided to play a defender as a number 10. Personally, I don't have any opinion on any coach coming in. I just want to see what Ineos has for us. I don't want to get my hopes up anymore, because we've been in this cycle. A new manager comes in, we get our hopes up, and then it falls down all over again. So I'll just be patient and see what Ineos comes up. And I want to wish Ruud the best of luck in his interim position.
All right. Thank you very much. So those were some very interesting thoughts from some of our very good friends who have been on the pod. You can also share your thoughts with us on the email that we've put together at UEF or UEF at Gmail, UEFpodcast@gmail.com. You can send in your videos to us so we can also play it so that other people can also get to enjoy your views on the issues. Kwame, let's do a lot more deep dive into some of these issues that have happened over the last couple of weeks. Should we talk a little bit more about Ten Hag, because this is going to be a last extensive conversation about Erik Ten Hag, and then probably
we can do a quick postmortem on his tenure at Manchester United. I mean,
let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, he came in at a time when, let's be honest, we were not good. In as much as people had this deep affection for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, just as almost every United fan from the 1999 ongoing, we're just not winning stuff. We had gone like 4, 5, 6 years without winning any trophy. And Erik Ten Hag came in and started well. He made some hardline decisions, stamped his authority on the club, on the squad. The one thing that I'd say is, communication-wise, he never really hit it. You know, a part of it is down to the fact that he didn't really have a mastery of the English language. But the
command of the language was missing.
That's just one of the issues that he had. But in his first season, it was the Ronaldo saga, the Sancho saga, all of that. But he dealt with it, and we actually had a very good season. Many people can see what they won, but we had a good season. We won a trophy for the first time in 6 years. We comfortably finished in the top 4. We should have probably won the Europa League, but for certain unfortunate circumstances. And then we're looking up. We were looking up because people were like, this is this new bright manager who had come from a winning culture at Ajax, and his first season seems bright, but the second season was nothing to be desired. It was a season that divided the fan base, to be honest. People were with Ten Hag, people were against Ten Hag for whatever agenda. I don't want to get into that. There were those who were just genuinely about the fact that, you know what, they don't see any progress and all of that. And it culminated in us finishing 8th. But yet again, we some way, somehow beat the best team in the world at the time in Manchester City to win another trophy, back-to-back trophies. No manager had done that, I think, since Jose Mourinho. Was it? No, since Alex Ferguson to win back-to-back titles at Manchester United. So So that kind of saved his job when Ineos did come in. You know, the last season when Ineos did come in, they themselves disrupted the season, coupled with all the excuses Erik Ten Hag may have given. At the end, they did think about changing him, but somehow he survived during the summer because of that FA Cup success. I mean, any manager who can give you back-to-back trophies may be doing something right, but the leash was not long. For a group who are just coming, taking over the club, and were looking for a new manager, the leash was never going to be long. And at the end of the day, they did keep Erik Ten Hag. They did offer him a small extension. The extension was also a sign of the fact that we do not trust you 100%. It was clear. They changed the staff behind him. He was allowed to pick his own staff, including a man who is going to stay on for the next couple of weeks, of whom people really didn't suspect at the time that Ruben Van Nistelrooy himself is a coach of his own. You know,
he's just lacking behind him, and then Charlie.
He's somebody who could stop you in the back and then take over. But we've read that he's a loyal man. He's loyal to Erik Ten Hag, so I don't think that it doesn't even seem to be an option now since we are appointing a new coach. But he was backed. All I'm trying to say is he was backed. He was backed with players. Ultimately, he did spend a total of £600 million. He was back with new staff. He had everything that no other manager post Alex Ferguson has had. So in the end, all we can say is Erik Ten Hag happens to be the manager post Ferguson who literally has zero excuse for actually failing. Our trajectory was not going up. It was clearly going down as time flew by. At the end of the day, his stats read. He had the second highest win percentage after Jose Mourinho, but then he had the second worst lose percentage. You have to look at it at both ends. It makes his tenure a bit confusing to actually judge.
Very confusing.
Where you place him. Do you place him as one of our worst managers or probably our second best manager? And after Jose Mourinho, you just don't know. I'm talking about managers post Alex Ferguson. You just really don't know where to place him. But it's over now. It dwindled, and I think the final straw for me was how in heaven's name are you playing Maswari as a number 10 in Europe? Why are you not playing Ugarte? Ugarte was signed against your will, so you decided not to play him. It just became a whole lot of personal, political issues that was going on. You are now playing players out of position. You are taking off your best players and you are rotating the squad. It all became so confusing and hard to read. And then we just knew, see, when you're dying, man, that's what happens. I said, I saw pray. That kind of thing. It's all over them. Me against the world, even including people who are supposed to be on your side. You become delusional and thinking everybody is against you. Basically, persecuting delusion, as they call it. Basically, everybody is against you. In the end, I think Ineos were patient enough. Then actually, like we spoke about in our previous episodes, they were always going to take stock of a longer duration of time. They were never going to pull the plug that early. But I'm sure they looked at the next fixtures after the last international break and were like, if he is not able to pull it off within these fixtures, he's not going to make it. And guess what? The first 3 games literally sums up his tenure at Manchester United. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. That's his inconsistency spelled out. You win against Brentford, you draw against Fenerbahce, and then you lose against
our position on the table is
West Ham.
The position on the table.
It became clear, Kwame, that Champions League money is almost always the reason why they pull the plug. When they do the math, it's not mathing. It's not going to get us Champions League football. So at that point in time, you do the projections and go like, if you're messing us up in Europe, you're messing us up in the league. I mean, they could live with the fact that probably you had won 3 out of 3 in Europe and you're struggling in the league. They may have. I'm not sure even that's even a guarantee, but they may have. But the fact that both competitions are in jeopardy, it was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time. So he had to go.
No way.
He had to go. And now we are moving forward. Yesterday, we were having this conversation in our group as to who should take over. Is it going to be Xavi? Is it going to be Amorim? Is it going to be Nagelsmann? Let's be honest with ourselves. There is no one true correct answer. We put up a poll on our pod.
Yes.
Early this morning before a decision was made. And as you can see on the screen, people were rooting for Nagelsmann. But Nagelsmann, let's be honest, I was saying that. I live in Germany. I know the commentary around Nagelsmann. They have a plan. The German FA have a plan. Nagelsmann is their man for the 2026 World Cup. After that, Jurgen Klopp is going to take over. It's very difficult to prize a German person from the German FA. From a club, it's a different issue. But their football association, it's totally different issue. It's tough. People don't understand it. The way they pride themselves in having who they want and educating as to how they want things to go.
Yeah.
The only way they release you is they sack you.
Yeah.
If they believe in you, they trust you, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. So I knew he wasn't really going to be the option, but he seems to have been leading the polls. After him, it was just nobody really knows. Nobody really trusts anybody because the options aren't really. They don't blow your mind.
Yeah,
we're talking about Frank, Amorim, Javi. There was a lot of pessimism about who should. But it looks like we have made a choice, and we're going to take a manager whom maybe people had linked previously to the Liverpool job.
Yeah,
he was also chased by West Ham. I think for 22 reasons or so, it did not work.
Yeah,
during the summer, but he had also been linked as a replacement for Pep Guardiola because Pep Guardiola's contract is actually on the brink of ending, and people were thinking that because the City are prizing Sporting's people, they are definitely going to take him. I think if there is any truth in that, United have decided that, you know what, let's just gazump this deal and then make sure that we get a very good young coach now. This is Ineos's biggest decision, in my opinion. Yeah. And this is their own coach. If it doesn't work, it sets a precedent that, you know what, there is no difference between you and you know who. So let's just hope and pray. That's the thing now, because United, we've said it a billion times here, it has become a graveyard. This club has become a graveyard. I repeat, a graveyard for many a men. Coaches, players, everybody comes here with a high reputation, huge potential, huge whatever, and the club just swallows you. So let's just wait. Fingers crossed. That's time around things wake up.
You know the funny thing, when you posted Amorim's record this season, 9 games, 9 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 30-something goals, 2 goals conceded, I started laughing. I'm like, bring him here. You bring him here. The club will sink you. But that's just by the by. But
you know, some people are going like, you know what, we should get a more experienced coach. Somebody has like, see, boss, what haven't we tried? We've tried the experienced one, we've tried the young one, we've tried the club legend, we've tried the up-and-coming coach who everybody wants at every football club. We've tried everything. We've signed all sorts of players. We've signed players for certain managers. We've signed a whole squad for one manager. We've done everything. But things aren't working. They're just wondering.
Maybe. We need to exorcise whichever demon that has taken over the club. It should be an option because, see, I mean, Ratcliffe spoke about the environment and he has fixed the environment. I think he's fixed it because he's brought in very knowledgeable people, very experienced people who have dealt with situations of such nature. So you would expect that things get a lot more better. We make better decisions and we do things a lot more different. So I feel the environment has been fixed. Erik Ten Hag was perhaps trusted, believed in. A lot of the fans backed him, especially not we, the online fans, so the match-going fans. They kept with him till the very end. If you remember, even the Brentford game, they still kept with him and they had support. And that's what Manchester United is. United fans traditionally stay with the manager till the very end when it is no more, right? So it wasn't surprising that a lot of the fans were backing him, but it just wasn't working. It just didn't pick because that 8th position finished last season and being 14th, no one looks at it. In fact, if you read a commentary around the way they spoke to him and all of that, they said it was respectful and dignified because they really respect how Erik has conducted.
Oh, he go back.
Yeah. I'm sure
he can't go and sit anywhere like Jose does or Louis Van Gaal does and then say anything bad about the club. They gave him everything
that you needed. The support you brought your own players. You brought your own players. You kept insisting on your own players. Amrabat just last week spoke about Erik wanting him to stay, and that Jason Wilcox was the man who decided against him staying and decided to bring in Ugarte. So Erik was given every support that he needed, right? And he did some good stuff. I mean, bringing in Garnacho or building up Garnacho, bringing up Kobe Menu and a few of the youngsters, Toby Collier.
We'll take the positive way. It wasn't all doom and gloom.
I mean, we won 2 trophies, so we describe his tenure with a lot more respect. All right, it didn't go well in the league for us. I mean, finishing 3rd in the first season, we thought we'll kick on. We went for a totally different approach. I mean, the way we wanted to play our football in the second season under him, the gaping holes, the basketball, and all of that. You know, it just didn't work out in the league. I mean, the cup competitions were very good. Were very good, not just quite good. They were very good. I mean, 2 finals in the first season, another final in the second season, and he kept insisting that we'll see where it happens. He felt maybe there will be an upturn of things and everything, but the way we were watching the team and what we were seeing, it wasn't just going in any direction that you felt that things were good. And a lot of the people that criticize him from the first season till now would feel vindicated. But for me, I would look back with what he's done so far at the club with a lot more respect. He himself and Jose Mourinho are one of the coaches that I would respect for their tenure at Manchester United. I mean, going through those difficult situations and still coming out some way, somehow tops, the injury situation and all of that. But he just didn't have a hang on the league and how to play and make maximum points over a period. They didn't sustain performances over long periods because you play well in the first half, second half, you look absolutely woeful. And when we are done, we'll talk about some players who are sharing farewell messages. Some of them are criminals. I'll say it. Criminals. They shouldn't be sharing farewell.
Who is the number 1 criminal at this list?
The right back. He knows himself. See the chance you missed yesterday.
Unbelievable.
I'm sure
we should be doing a review, but we decided not to do a review because it was so annoying. See, some of the players put a dagger, you know how they killed Sid, eh? They put a dagger in the back of Erik Ten Hag. Like, they killed
the guy. They killed the guy. Roy put up a post on Instagram talking about good teams, coaches hold something good teams. I'm just trying to post it. But what he was saying basically is that in good teams, it is coaches that hold players accountable. But in great teams, players hold players accountable.
Players hold players accountable. Yeah, they hold themselves accountable.
They have to hold themselves accountable as well. Some of the players, I mean, it was
speaking about that, we must as well just speak about what we think Amorim can offer from what we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
He coached Braga. He was pushed from Braga 3 years ago. And at Sporting, he's been almost flawless, 71% win record. He's won the league a couple of times. He's made some noise in Europe. He has them scoring goals and not conceding goals. Yes, one would say is the Portuguese league, just as we said, it was the Dutch league for Erik Ten Hag. That is where people have their doubts a bit because the strength of the league isn't really great. Yeah. But what we should know is that Sporting haven't always been perennial challengers for the title. It's always been between Benfica and Porto. But with Amorim, he actually broke that. He put Sporting really up there. And they were challenging almost everything. And then in this season, they've won all their games, actually. They've considered just a couple of goals and scored about 30 goals.
2 goals in the league, just 2.
Yeah, with a striker on form.
Gyökeres.
What's the... Yeah, I can't. Yeah. That's one name I was looking at this summer that we could actually sign instead of Zexi, but it looks like nobody really... I think people balked at his price, but
the price
for me, he's worth the money because he's not stopping. Ever since he left Coventry, he has not stopped. He's always just looked up. And I'm happy for Ugarte as well because we struggled to actually sign him, yeah? But we've gotten him, and then this coach didn't want to play him because he didn't want him, like you said, because of Amrabat. But this is somebody that we should be looking to the future rather than relying on midfielders who would be part of our past. Casemiro and Eriksen wouldn't be there next season. Why was he just relying on them instead of playing somebody who we bought for 50 to 60 million pounds? It doesn't make sense. But now all that is going to change. His system is what confuses people a bit. He usually plays a 3-back system. At United, we are used to playing 3-back. All the coaches from Ferguson all the way through do not play 3-back. It was only Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who at times deployed that system. You know, Ole was tactically very flexible. People used to say all sorts of lies about him, but he was tactically very, very flexible. He could play numerous systems in the season. But Amorim's basic system is a 3-4-3 formation. The 3 at the back is not a problem for me. It's actually exciting because when you think about the fact that we have Lenny Yoro to come back into the team, who never kicked a ball officially for Erik Ten Hag. He's going to come back into the team. And we have Delete and then we have Martinez. We don't have to drop any of them if we want to put a back 3 together. It's a good back 3. And we can have wing backs who can do some damage in Mazraoui, in Diogo Dalot. And then hopefully our left backs do return soon. But I still want us to get a new left back. You know, I'm done with them too. Yeah. And then in midfield, Ugarte can pair up with either Kobe Mainoo or Casemiro or somebody else. And then you can play a front 3 of, again, like it could be Garnacho, Rashford, and Højlund. It could be any front 3, but then they will be narrow enough, offensive focused enough, just to be looking for goals. And he also prides himself in promoting youth. I think that's how come he also ticks this box, because at Sporting, he's brought in a lot of youth talent. Do you know that he actually declined Ronaldo? He didn't want Ronaldo signed for Sporting a couple of years ago when it was proposed. He was one of those coaches who spoke against Sporting bringing back Ronaldo because he believed that they should rather be giving the younger players a chance, and that bringing a big name like that would overshadow the work that they were doing. He actually even threatened that he would resign. Most people didn't know that because he wasn't really a big name back then. They were not paying attention. But he was one of those coaches. He believes in this. So we said before that we need football people to come in who sign players for the club and appoint a manager who can use the players. So we are not going to say we expect Amorim to get his own players before he hits the ground running. We will not accept that. We are not going to accept that. These are young players, good players, a lot of young and good players whom he can take over right now, deploy the system that he wants to play, because we have those players to play that system. And then he should get right at it. No excuses. We're not giving anybody an excuse. It's not like we are being hard line on him. No. We've gone beyond that, where we are going to do a new rebuild. Rebuilding at a point it sounds like a myth. The reason being that if you're signing very, very good players, and you know the kind of football that you want to play as a club, you go out there and you appoint the manager based on the materials that you have and the kind of football that you want to play. So when you bring Amorim in, your simple basic understanding of bringing him in is you have a squad that he fits. He understands that he fits. He accepts that he fits. And he will come in and implement his style of football as soon as possible and get us running. Along the way, he can add a couple of pieces. You're not talking about 5, 6, 7 players at the goal before we become good. That's the thing. We shouldn't be thinking any manager who comes in now just needs a couple of pieces. United can go on and sign 5, 6 players, but what I'm saying is that all that manager needs is a couple of key players to be able to augment his squad, just to give him that extra edge. But we should be able to see a clear identity, a clear style of football, and ultimately, results.
Well, that's Kwame Nchukwueze with a very clear and concise analysis on Ruben Amorim and what to expect. Like he rightly said, he's the best coach ever if he's appointed a new manager of Man United.
100%. Best coach ever, Kwame.
Ever.
Until he's not.
Until he decides to go wayward. All right, so thank you very much for being a part of the podcast. You see what is written on Kwame's shirt. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Let's hit 2,000 subscribers. In 2 weeks, let's hit 2,000 subscribers because we are going to enjoy. We're going to win games. We are back. Yes.
We're going to beat Leicester. We're going to beat Chelsea.
Leicester will beat Chelsea.
Van Nistelrooy will do what Carrick did, yeah?
Exactly.
Give us a new manager bounce. When he finishes, lay the ground for the win to take over.
Continue. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being a part of the podcast. There's a lot to come your way this week. A lot. Any breaking news, remember, we'll be here to give to you so you get to enjoy everything that we have for you on United and everything football. We'll see you on the next one after the game against Leicester. Hopefully, we qualify to the next stage of the Carabao Cup. As it stands, we are in all competitions. So we pray that we keep ourselves.
The season is not lost. They just got started.
Not lost. Yes, it's not started well, but it's not lost. We hope that it is salvaged so we could have a better season. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.